Hey, it's 9 o'clock. Welcome, everyone. My name is Mats Görlam. I'm the chairperson for Hong Kong Chamber of Commerce here in Sweden. This is a webinar arranged by us together with Prime Asia and also with Citibank in Hong Kong. And the purpose of this webinar is to learn out more how to open up a company, register a company in Hong Kong, and also open up a bank account. So it's a hands-on event for companies or persons interested in this. And this event will also be recorded, so it will also be available afterwards via our YouTube channel. So you can also forward to other people. I will just start quickly and I will share my screen to just a short introduction about our chamber. And hopefully you're seeing that right now. And Hong Kong Chamber of Commerce in Sweden, we are a non-political, non-profit organization. And our mission is to promote business relations between Sweden and Hong Kong both ways. And we're having a lot of private members, but we also have some company members, some founding members, five listed here, but also corporate members. And we have one of the members there are Prime Asia, which is co-hosting this event today, which they will present themselves further down the road here. Just quickly, what we're doing, we are a small chamber, but we are doing different events. And these are the planned events for the next quarter. And the first one is actually the webinar, which we are running right now. Next week, we will have an annual meeting up in Stockholm. And then we are planning for 2-3 more webinars later this in April. We have a data sharing with the event planned for every April. We're having 2 webinars planned together with KTH and Lund. We're planning for a food event physical in Lund in June. And we also have a legal event at Serial, which is also one of our company members, on June 4th in Stockholm. We have our homepage, but the best way to follow updates from us is via our LinkedIn page. You can search on LinkedIn, or you actually have the QR code here. Just click there and then you follow us. My last slide, this is my name, my email, mobile, and my LinkedIn. You also have a counselly@hongkong.se, and there you can also contact the chamber in general, which is Anton, who is also part of this webinar today. Okay, but then I warmly will introduce our first speaker, which is Teresa Tam, who's Executive Director at Prime Asia Corporate Service Limited in Hong Kong. So over to you, Teresa.
Thank you, Maz. Thank you. So I'm now going to share my screen.
Perfect, that we see you. But if you do,
can you see the screen now?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, then I will start. So welcome to the webinar. Let me introduce myself. I'm Teresa Tam. I'm the Executive Director at Prime Asia Corporate Services Limited. And I have over 10 years of experience in helping international companies to both set up in Hong Kong and China. So today our focus is about how to open a Hong Kong company, and also after the incorporations, how are you going to make the company going? So let's look at the agenda of today. So we will talk about types of registrations and what are the features of a Hong Kong company, what are the benefits of setting up a Hong Kong company, what are the minimum requirements, incorporation procedures, And of course, after the incorporation, what you have to do in order to maintain a Hong Kong company. So these two are the most common registration here in Hong Kong. One is the representative office, and then the other is a private limited company. So it really depends what's your business plan here in Hong Kong. What are you going to do here in Hong Kong? So let's say if you are just doing some marketing research, or you are just doing some liaison work for your parent company, no profit generating activities, then you can set up a representative office. But a representative office is not an independent legal entity. It cannot enter into any contracts or any trade contracts or agreements, but they can hire staff locally and they can also rent an office. But if you are going to invest in Hong Kong, or if you want to issue sales invoice here in Hong Kong, then or doing trade agreements, then you have to set up a Hong Kong limited company. Sorry everyone, because I'm a bit nervous, so my voice is a bit cracked. I'm really sorry about that. Yeah, okay, I keep going. So it really depends on the intention, whether you need to make profit or generating revenue. So if yes, then you need to set up a private limited company. And then so we move to the next slides. So what are the features of a private limited company? It is a separate legal entity. So it is independent. So it is not represent your parent company. And it is limited liability. It means it creates to protect the shareholders' interests. That means the members are not personally liable for the company's debt. But there are certain informations available to the public. For example, if you search online, you can actually see the details of the directors and shareholders. But the financial information or the audited accounts is not available to the public. Oh, my voice is...
That's okay. It's okay.
You want to...
You're doing well. Don't worry.
Okay, so I move to the next slide. Sorry about that. So you were asked, what are the benefits of setting up a Hong Kong company? I would say there are a lot of benefits of setting up here in Hong Kong, but I have highlighted 6 points here so that I think it might be interesting to you. So the first is it is very easy and fast to set up. You can actually do the registration online. So if it is just a sole director or it is just a sole shareholder, then you can go to the company registry, that is the government website, it is an organization, then you can register it online. But if it involves a foreign company or a foreign individual, then you cannot do it online. And then the other is the simple tax system. So there is no VAT tax here in Hong Kong, but a limited company is subject to the profit tax each year. And then you will ask, so what's the tax rate? What's the profit tax rate here in Hong Kong? Actually, for the net profit each year, if your net profit is the first 2 million, it is taxed at 8.25%. And after the 2 million, it would be taxed at 16.5%. Yes. And then there is another tax status. It is called the offshore tax status. So that means it is a zero tax. You don't need to pay you don't need to pay any tax here in Hong Kong if you meet certain requirements. So what are the requirements? So if you do not have a physical office here in Hong Kong, if you are not hiring any staff here in Hong Kong, and the sales agreements, it is not actually concluded outside of Hong Kong. I mean, it is concluded outside of Hong Kong, and the board of directors make the decision also outside of Hong Kong, then you can apply for the offshore tax claim status. But again, this is not automatically will grant this status to you. You need to apply it when you do the first profit tax return. Then the next benefits is you don't need to appoint a Hong Kong resident as a director. And also a foreigner or a foreign company, he is eligible 100% ownership rights of a company. And then the other one is, of course, Hong Kong is very close to China. So if you want to open the market or go into the China market, then a lot of international companies, they will first set up a Hong Kong company, and then maybe a year or two, they will use a Hong Kong company and then to invest or open a subsidiary in China. So it is called an investment holding company. So now we will move to the minimum requirements, procedures, and also the bank accounts opening. So if you look at the slides here, so you need at least one director. And this director, either it is a natural person or it is a corporation. It can be any nationality. But of course, there must be at least one individual person as a director. And for the shareholder, it can be a natural person again, and also it can be a foreign company or it can be a Hong Kong company. And for the company secretary role, it is a must here in Hong Kong. And then either, but there is some restriction. Either it is appointed a trust and service provider company or the employee of the company, but the employee must be a Hong Kong resident. And then you also need to have a registered office address. It is not required to have a physical office address here in Hong Kong. And then also a designated representative. And it can also be the Hong Kong employee, or it can also be the license of a trust and corporate trust or company service provider. And then for the share capital, you can have minimum one share. And most of the people, they will put Hong Kong $1 or they put $100. This is the most common value. So if you put Hong Kong $1, that means your pay-up capital is Hong Kong $1 Hong Kong for the pay-up capital. So now you see the company structure here. You will see two. So on the left, you will see the Swedish company. Let's say you have a Swedish company, then you can have 100% subsidiaries Hong Kong company. So the Swedish company is holding 100% shares. Or if you want to set up in China, then after you set up this Hong Kong company, then you can set up a wholly foreign-owned enterprise in China. So this is also one of the most common type entities for foreigners. So for the business activities, the most common is trading, consulting, investment holding, IT consulting, or e-commerce. But actually in Hong Kong, there is no restrictions on the business activities. So after I have talked about the minimum requirements and the business activities, then you will ask whether the directors and shareholders, are they required to come to Hong Kong for the registration? And the answer is no. So if you want to set up a Hong Kong company, the directors and shareholders are not actually have to come here to Hong Kong. So now I move to the incorporation procedures. So start from here. So we will send an activation checklist. It is actually a link. So the clients have to fill in the checklist and for example, the details of the directors, the details of the shareholders, business activities, and also they have to provide certain documents. So the documents is for our CDD purpose. It is called the client due diligence purpose. So I will talk about the due diligence in the next slide, but it is mostly about the shareholders or the directors' passport address proof. And after we receive the documents, then we will review it and then see whether they can pass the CDD, the client due diligence. So a client must pass the CDD, otherwise they cannot open a company here in Hong Kong. And then we will start preparing the incorporation documents, and then we will send it to the clients, and then they will sign the documents and then emails to us, or they send it to the original to us, and then we will submit to the company registry. So the company registry is, again, I mentioned the government organization here in Hong Kong for setting up the company. So after we have submitted the forms, it takes around like 5 working days, okay, 5 working days. Then we will receive the business license and certificate of incorporation. And then once the Hong Kong company is ready, then we can move to the bank accounts opening. So that means after the incorporation, after you have completed the incorporation, you will get the certificate of free documents you will get. So the certificate of incorporation, the business certificates, and then also the NNC1 form. So the NNC1 form, you will see the details of the directors, shareholders, and then also the company secretary, and also the address of the company. So all this form, you can actually download it from the company registry. That's why I say the information, some information of a Hong Kong company is available to the public. So in the previous slide, I mentioned about the client due diligence procedures. So when you open up a Hong Kong company, these are the documents that we mostly request from our clients. If it is an individual, we need the passport certified true copy, and also the residential address proof, which has to be valid within 3 months. It can be electricity bills, water supplies bills, etc. Also, we also need to see the proof of source of funds of wealth. So, for example, it can be a previous employment contract. And then for the corporate, we need the certificate of incorporation, organization chart, and then also the audited financial statements or the tax return. So apart from the company incorporation, actually each Hong Kong company, they are required to maintain a SCR, a significant controller register. This is not a new regulation, but it was introduced in 2018. So this is a significant controller register sample. So you will see, you need to identify, each Hong Kong company need to identify who is the significant controller, and then put the details here in this register. So this register is not open to public. It is only for internal record. But the Hong Kong company registry, that means the government has the rights to go to the register office address of a Hong Kong company to inspect the records. So then you will ask them, what is a significant controller? If we move back to the previous slide. So what is a significant controller? It means what it is, it can be a person, it can be a legal entity that has a significant control over the company. So if we look back at this slide, so it will be the Swedish company. This is the significant controller. So if there is a beneficial owner, let's say 100%, then the significant controller is the one holding the Swedish company. So what is significant control? That means a person is holding more than 25% of the issued shares, or the person is holding or directly or indirectly of the more than 25% of the voting rights, or the person or a company that has the right to appoint or remove the board of directors, or the person or a company that has the right to exercise significant control over the company. Yes, and also control over the activities. So a significant controller register now is a must here in Hong Kong. So now we can move to the bank accounts opening. So a Hong Kong company must be ready. It must be complete before we can open a bank account for the Hong Kong company. So you need to provide a statutory documents to the bank. So I mentioned previously, these are the 3 documents that you need to provide to the bank. That is the certificate of incorporation, business certificate, and the NNC1 form. And then also the bank will request the business proof. So for example, any contracts, agreements that you signed with potential clients or existing clients, or even you have to provide a business plan. And a physical meeting is a must. So I would say 90% of the bank will arrange a physical meeting here in Hong Kong to interview the clients and also the shareholders and directors when they open a bank accounts, when they need to come to Hong Kong for the physical meetings. And it takes around 4 to 5 weeks to complete the whole bank account opening procedures. And now there are other options. For example, virtual banks. They are licensed institutions here in Hong Kong, but I would say most of the clients, they will treat this as just a payment platform because they are quite different from the traditional bank. So now, once your Hong Kong company is ready, the bank accounts is ready, then now you can conduct your business activities. So we call the post-incorporation stage. So you need to do the bookkeeping for the company. And then also you need to keep the financial records. For example, the sales invoice, purchase invoice, agreements, receipts, and you have to keep it for 7 years. And at the same time, if you have a physical office here in Hong Kong, you can also hire the local staff here. And what you need to do is preparing the employment contract, which is according to the Hong Kong labor rules. And also you need to open a mandatory provident funds account. It is a must. And it is just like a pension funds. And the company is required to do the monthly filings. That is the contribution of both the employers and employees. And also you need to buy the employer's compensation insurance. It is not a medical insurance. It is an insurance policy that covers an employer's liability when their staff suffers injury or illness while they are working. So it is a compulsory. And then also you have to file an employer's return as well if you hire staff here in Hong Kong. So what you need to do is you have to report to the Inland Revenue Department how many staff you employed during the fiscal year and how much you have paid to each individual staff during the fiscal year. So apart from that, there are also some annual maintenance filings, annual filings you have to do. First is you need to hold an annual general meeting. And then you also need to do the filing of the annual return. So when you first set up a company, it is called the NNC1 form that I mentioned previously. But after 1 year, you need to renew the an annual return, and that annual return form is called an AR1. And then you also have to renew the business registration certificate. And also each year you need to prepare the financial statement, appoint a local auditor and get it audited. And of course, each year you also need to do the profit tax return filings and the filings of the employer's return. So I would say, in conclusion, setting up a Hong Kong company is simple, fast, and easy. So a little bit about Prime Asia. So we are a trust and company service provider. So we can help you to set up a company here in Hong Kong. And then we also have offices in Hong Kong and China. So we can provide all these one-stop services. And we are licensed. Okay, so I have finished my part. And then now I will move to pass the room to Andre. Let me see how to, okay.
Thank you, Teresa.
Okay, okay.
Thank you, Teresa. Let me just share my screen. Can everyone see my screen?
Yeah? Yes, I do. Yes.
Great. Thank you. Good morning, good afternoon. My name is Andre, and I'm from City Commercial Bank. So I also have some slides that I would like to share with you. I think the slides that I would like to focus on is mainly to showcase, what City Commercial Bank does, our capabilities, and more importantly, how we can help you in case you wish to consider expanding into Hong Kong, and how we can add value to your business. Towards the end of the presentation, we will also have a few case study that we want to share with you to showcase how some of our clients are structured in this part of the world, and how we assist them in terms of cash management solutions. As a quick introduction, I head up the commercial subsidiaries group at City Commercial Bank in Hong Kong. In short, what me and my team does is basically we look after the Hong Kong subsidiaries of our overseas, parented clients. And in fact, Sweden, the Nordics region is a key corridor that we have identified to grow and focus on, this year. And the reason is because we have seen increasing number of companies from Sweden and Nordics that are entering into the Hong Kong and the Greater China market. And that's why, we thought this is a perfect timing for me to share, how we as a bank can support companies that are entering into the Hong Kong, China market. And so it's an absolute pleasure for me to join this webinar. So as a quick introduction on City, with City, we have 5 business pillars: services, markets, banking international, wealth, and U.S. personal banking. And City Commercial Bank is part of the banking and international pillar. And basically what this pillar does is basically it oversees the local delivery of the full City franchise to clients in each of the 90 plus markets where City has on the ground presence. Within this pillar, we have 3 business segments. We have the investment bank, we have the corporate bank, and then we have the City Commercial Bank. Now, what type of clients we focus on, if we look at the turnover, we typically cover clients with turnover, consolidated turnover of anywhere between $10 million to $3 billion. And they can be from a wide variety of industries. So that's basically how we in terms of sales revenue, that's the typical size of the clients that we cover. Of course, if there's anything above $3 billion, that will be covered by the corporate bank. But within $10 million to $3 billion, that's a wide range of clients that we cover. Where we help, we cover clients that are headquartered in 40 countries where City Commercial Bank is present, and we can support them in over 100 jurisdictions. Now, I will come into that in the next slide, where that 40 and 100 number comes from. So now, if you look at this slide, this basically illustrates our global presence. And you can see there are countries which is highlighted in blue. Now, this is where City Commercial Bank has presence, which are about 40 markets. And those that are not highlighted in blue are those that have city presence, but the commercial bank does not have presence. So how our network works means if you are a company parented in one of the countries highlighted in blue, that's where we can support you, and since we have the commercial bank presence. And let's say if you have a subsidiary in any of the countries listed in this slide, that's about 100 countries, then we will be able to support your banking needs at the subsidiary level. So, an example, if you are a company headquartered in one of the 4 countries in the Nordics region, Sweden, Denmark, Finland, and Norway, which are highlighted in blue. So these are definitely clients we can support if you are headquartered in one of these 4 countries. And let's say if you have a subsidiary in Japan, which is not highlighted in blue, but you have a subsidiary there and require banking support, is also a country where we will be able to offer support. So I think this is an important slide because when it comes to cross-border needs, when it comes to international banking needs, we are a true global bank, with presence in 100 countries, that we are able to support you on the ground with staff, local staff, supporting your banking needs. On the next slide, a little bit about our regional presence here in Asia Pacific. So I'm not going to go into too much details, but a few things that I want to highlight is, first of all, on the right-hand side, we've been operating in Asia for more than 120 years. We have a very strong local know-how here in operating. We are now employing digital onboarding. So what digital onboarding means? Now, in the old-fashioned way, you have, if you wish to open a bank account, you will need to physically travel to a branch. They would have, hard copies of papers that you need to sign in wet ink. But a few years ago, we have launched digital onboarding in most countries in Citi, where the entire onboarding process has been digitized. That would mean if you wish to open a bank account at Citi, since we have digitized this process, all you need to do is log into our portal, filling the account opening documents there, signed, upload it back to the portal, and we can retrieve and review the documents from the portal. So that could potentially save you time in traveling, let's say to Hong Kong if you wish to open an account here. Apart from digital onboarding, we have supported over close to 7,000 clients in liquidity structures, such as cash pooling, cash sweeping in Asia Pacific. On the right-hand side, you can see we are present in most countries here in Asia. I would say we are present in more than 10 countries, and I would say majority of the countries we do have Citi presence already. And on the top top right, you can see we have received a number of awards. One thing I want to highlight, which is not mentioned here, is we have just been awarded the best commercial bank in Hong Kong this year by the magazine The Assets. So that's something that we have just recently received. And in addition to Hong Kong, we have also received this award in 6 other countries in Asia. So that's a recognition given to us by a famous, a well-known financial magazine. So next slide is really into Hong Kong. Now you can see a lot of information here, but I'm not going to go into details. But I just want to highlight a few products that we feel gives us the competitive edge, comparing to the peers. Now a bit of history. We've been in Hong Kong for more than 100 years. We've been there since 1902. We do have local branch network. We have more than 10 branch network. So in case you wish to visit a branch for certain type of payments, we do have this capability. In Hong Kong, we serve more than 6,000 multinational clients. Many of them are Fortune 500 clients. companies. Some of them are companies which are in the emerging or mid-corporate space, but are growing, cross-border. So we do have a very large portfolio of cross-border clients here in Hong Kong. In terms of products, I think, again, I would like to highlight a few things that we are quite strong at. I think from a high-level perspective, we do have a full suite of products from cash management, payments, lending, credit, trade, and foreign exchange. But there are a few particular products that I would like to highlight, which I think is interesting for you in case you wish to enter Hong Kong China market, or you're growing, from a cross-border perspective. First thing is instant payments. Now, in Asia, we do have a number of countries such as Hong Kong and other countries in Asia where instant payments is live. Instant payments meaning you can make payments to a vendors, to a suppliers 24/7. Now, that's something available here in Hong Kong at Citi. Another interesting thing is, if you look at payment in 130 currencies, we have a system called WorldLink, which allow our clients to transact and make payments in over 130 currencies. So apart from the G10 currencies, there are a lot of other currencies that you can choose from. And this is very commonly used by our client because I think, as Teresa has mentioned, when companies come to Hong Kong, they don't just come to Hong Kong, but they come to Hong Kong, let's say, as a regional hub or even a treasury center. And in a lot of times where we see they use Hong Kong as a regional hub, they also act as an intermediate holding company to hold subsidiaries in other Asian countries such as Vietnam, Malaysia, Taiwan, Korea, etc. And they might have needs to make payments in local currency, let's say Korean won, Malaysian ringgit, Indonesian rupee, Taiwanese dollars, to these countries. And this is something that we are definitely capable of in allowing our clients to make local currency payments in exotic currencies to these countries. On the right, we mentioned about cash flow cross-border sweeps. So this is something that we can definitely support. What I want to highlight is we have actually helped a number of clients to manage trapped cash in a number of countries, such as China. I think when we talk to our cross-border clients, cash trap, for example, in China is always an issue that we always hear, and they're all constantly looking for guidance on how they can move cash out efficiently from China. There are different ways, such as dividends, but there could be potentially, withholding tax involved, and there are also other ways which allow clients to move cash out of China, and one of the ways is by setting up cross-border cash pool, between China, Hong Kong, and the headquarters, and we have done quite a number of these in Hong Kong. So in case any of you have subsidiaries, let's say in China, that have built up cash over the past few years and are looking to repatriate cash, out of China, and you would like to have advice or guidance on this, we can definitely, something that we'll be happy to talk to you about. Okay. So I think, since we've been in Asia, in Hong Kong for a lot of the years, in this slide, we just want to summarize, how we, what are the common asks, that we've seen, from our client. And this can be divided into a few areas. First of all, we help a client to enter new market easily. I think with the fact that we are present in close to 100 countries, we do have local people, local staff that can help you, whether very from the beginning of opening a bank account to more complex solutioning later when your business grows, such as cash pool, cash repatriation, foreign exchange. These are things that we have the local people to support you. Simplify your global operations. One thing that I will also mention later is we do have a global platform called Citi Direct, which allows you to manage banking in one platform. So basically, if you have bank accounts open with Citi in, let's say, 10, 20, 30 countries, with one platform, one login, one password, you will have visibility to manage all the accounts in one platform. And then that could definitely help you to have better visibility on your global accounts, such as your cash balances, and allow you to have better control over your accounts. There's also opportunities that you might have working capital or funding needs. We do have lending capabilities in many of the branches around the globe. So in case your business is growing and require working capital, whether it's a revolving loan, term loan to fund like a capital expenditure, these are things that we can certainly look into. We do have trade services. When we talk to a lot of clients that are in, let's say, the commodity business, they will have the need to issue letters of credit, bank guarantees, which are also things that we can support. Maximizing return and also managing your cash. We have assisted our clients in setting up cash pool to centralize the cash in, let's say, Hong Kong, and maximizing the yield on the cash. So these are the things that are common asks that we see from our client, and which we have the solutioning to help our clients. So global visibility, I think I've talked about. I think the strength for us is we do have one platform where in whichever country that you have the accounts, it can be tagged to the same platform. So with one platform, you would have the visibility control over the global accounts. And I think one thing that is also a key strength to our platform is City Payment Insights. What this function means is that, when we talk to treasurers, a key for them is to have track on where the payments are. So let's say if you make a cross-border transfer and an outgoing payment to, let's say, a beneficiary in China, sometimes it could take a few days, and I think as a company, you would like to know where that payment is. And with City Payment Insights, it would allow you to have details on where the payment is. Let's say whether the payment has been credited to the beneficiary bank account, whether it's stuck with at a correspondent bank. So we do have these capabilities built into the system, which allows you to have good visibility on where the payment is. Accessing global bank accounts within a single bank. I think what I want to highlight here is how we manage our cross-border clients is that we will always have a so-called a parent account manager that will be your relationship manager. That will be overseeing the entire global relationship. He or she will be the relationship manager at the parent company level, with who will be contacting the group CFO or the group treasurer, and then we will be. And then there will be subsidiary account manager in the country where you have subsidiaries. And the parent account manager and the subsidiary account manager do have close collaboration, making sure the company is served well globally, and that and they will be always be communicating, making sure a client is well served all the time. So when you're back in the city, you will have someone that knows your company at headquarter level, but also have the local know-how to support you at a subsidiary level. In the next two slides, I just want to share, some of the common solutioning on how we are helping our client when they come to Hong Kong or when they come to Asia. Now, this slide illustrates a cash pool setup. So this is a case study where we have a client headquartered in the US, and they have subsidiaries in close to 10 countries in Asia. Now they have subsidiaries in Asia, and they have sales offices around Asia. They have offices in Hong Kong, Japan, Singapore, Philippines, Malaysia, Taiwan, Korea. So they're present in most countries. And given they have been present in many of the countries, they have accumulated a certain amount of cash in these countries. Now, what the client would like to do is they want to centralize the cash for distributing it to subsidiary that require the cash, or maximizing the yield in a country after these are pulled together. We've also seen clients where they would like to centralize the cash in Asia and then repatriate everything back to the headquarters, let's say to pay down debts, because the interest rate is quite high at the moment. So what we've done is we have set up regional cash flow structure for these clients using Hong Kong as a Asia header account. So what we've done is, first of all, we've identify which are the markets that are considered liberal. Liberal meaning the cash can move in and out of countries freely without any restrictions. So these are countries like Japan, Singapore, Australia, New Zealand, where moving the cash to a Hong Kong header can be very straightforward. And then we have, markets that are considered as semi-restricted, such as China, Philippines, Korea, Malaysia, and Taiwan, where cash pooling is possible, but there are certain local requirements or approvals, such as converting from the local currency to a US dollar, and also obtaining approvals from, let's say, the central bank. And then lastly is restricted markets such as India, Vietnam, which cash flow is quite difficult. So what we have done for our client is we have set up a cash pool for them here within Asia, with Hong Kong being the header. So once this cash pool is set up, it will be an automatic sweep. And once this setup is done, client will be able to move the cash automatically from these countries, from the liberal markets, from the semi-restricted markets, to the Hong Kong header. And once the funds arrive at the Hong Kong header, they can either repatriate to the headquarters, invest it in Hong Kong to get, to enhance the yield that they're getting on the cash, or send this to another subsidiaries which require the cash. So this is something that we've done for a client, and something that we also have the capability at Citi to help our clients in case they have cash sitting in different countries and the group CFO feels they are not making the most efficient use of these countries and wish to have a look at the possibility of centralizing them for other use. So that's a solution on how we help our client in managing trapped cash and excess liquidity here in Asia. The next slide is about, I think Teresa has talked about it, using Hong Kong as a trading arm. So I have a diagram here illustrating how this can be set up. Now, in this diagram, you can see we have a client that has supplies in Vietnam, and then they want to sell products back into China. Now, how a Hong Kong entity could come into place is they could have a Hong Kong trading company, which can be owned by a, let's say a company headquartered in Sweden. Now, with this Hong Kong trading arm, what they can do is they can source from the suppliers in Vietnam and sell to the company's customers in China. Now, the benefit of having this Hong Kong trading arm is, first of all, on managing the FX. Now, in Hong Kong, as I've mentioned before, it is possible to, let's say, pay VND into Vietnam. Quite often, we see clients paying USD to Vietnam. But what we see is, for the Vietnamese suppliers, many of their costs would be in VND, okay? Because they have factories there, their raw materials, their labor costs could all be in VND. So what the Hong Kong trading arm can do is make the payments to VND. And in this case, this would allow Hong Kong entity to manage the FX risk. And by shifting the FX risk to Hong Kong, there is a possibility to negotiate with the Vietnamese suppliers for, let's say, a discount. Okay, this is something that we've seen our client doing before. And on the other hand, when selling to customers in China, the Hong Kong trading arm can request Chinese customers, buyers, to pay renminbi to the Citi Hong Kong account. And again, this allows our client using the Hong Kong entity to manage FX fluctuation between, let's say, renminbi and USD, and then USD within VND. So that's a benefit of using the Hong Kong trading and trading arm. And another benefit is that it will allow you to, let's say, reserve the cash in Hong Kong. And I think why we've seen a lot of clients doing this is because Hong Kong is one of the few liberal markets in Asia where there's no restrictions on fund movement, whether it's incoming, outgoing fund movement, or foreign exchange. So I think that gives a huge benefit of managing cash, liquidity, banking in Hong Kong because there's no structural restrictions on capital movement, on FX. So basically, once the renminbi arrives in Hong Kong, you can freely convert it into another currency, or even transfer it to another country, or even, let's say, convert it into euro and repatriate back to the Swedish headquarters and that's why we've seen a lot of clients using Hong Kong as a trading arm. And the last benefit, is potentially tax benefit, which Teresa has mentioned. But I guess that's something that I'll leave it to Teresa and Prime Asia to comment on if there are any questions on tax benefits. Lastly, I just want to showcase an example of how we're supporting a client. Now, our client is a company called Codasit, which is in the business of designing electronic automation tool. They're headquartered in Czech Republic. They have presence in UK, France, Germany, Greece, Spain, US, and also China. So I think they came to us a few years ago with the priority of centralizing the banking, having better visibility on their global accounts, having better control of the global accounts, and managing the FX, foreign exchange. Because, as you can aware, they are present in so many countries. They do have, foreign exchange exposure from different countries. So what we have helped them is, we onboarded them in all the countries that they are present in. We open bank accounts for them. And all these accounts are tagged under City Direct, where the headquarters is able to transact, to view, to monitor, to manage all these accounts under one single platform. And not only from a cash management perspective, but also from an FX. We do have a platform which client is able to view the real-time FX quotes of major currencies and even allow them to book FX contracts, whether it's spot, whether it's forward. So I think that's simply indicate, how we can help, especially when a client is growing internationally, growing cross-border, how we as a global bank can support them in all these locations, whether it's from a cash management perspective or whether it's from a foreign exchange perspective. So that's all the presentations I have. I hope you find this information interesting. And if there's any additional questions or information, feel free to reach out anytime. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Andre, and also Teresa. And I actually have 5 questions through the chat box or direct to me. And let's kickstart. We have additional 8 minutes. And if there are any more questions, use the chat or raise your hand, and Anton will open up the mic for you. I think actually the first question is actually, I think it's already answered. It was about, can you open up a bank account without a physical presence? And you said, Teresa, in 90% of the cases. And Andrew, you said with Citi, it's all right to do that. Yeah. So we are. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it really depends on the bank's policy. So I think as Andre mentioned that actually Citibank, if they already have the presence in the country, then they are able to do the interview, for example, in Sweden. But it really depends on the bank policy. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But then the second. Yeah, please, Andrew.
Sorry,
please.
can I just add on to that? Because I think I mentioned there's a possibility that the company may not have to physically fly over to Hong Kong, but in general, from a banking perspective and specifically from KYC perspective, we always like to meet the client and also have a physical meeting at the client's office. Now, let's say if it's a company in Sweden, we can always have our colleagues, to meet the company at the headquarters. Obviously, there will be certain threshold, there will be certain requirement, but given we do have office, we do have people in Sweden, there's a possibility that the site visit, or the meeting can be held in let's say Stockholm, where our colleagues in Europe would be able to assist.
Okay. Yeah, perfect. That sounds great then. But another question there, second question was that if it's a Swedish new client interesting to use Citibank's and visit your office or they come to the headquarters, a lot of Swedish companies are SMEs. It's not Volvo or Ericsson. It's usually small companies setting up a presence. What's your demand on the profile of the Swedish company? What kind of if it's a small SME, will you then accept them as a new client?
I think at the beginning of of my presentation, I've talked about the threshold in terms of consolidated sales revenue of our clients. So I think our focus is on that particular range if we talk about the sales revenue. So let's say if it's SME, I think what we can do is we can have an understanding on the background of the company. I think for us is for us to really understand a little bit about what the client's ask is, how we can help, what they're looking for from Citi, and then we can take it from there. But I think if we're looking at the sales turnover, I think I've covered that in that slide. So our focus is to cover clients between 10 million to 3 billion.
Okay. Perfect. No, thank you so much. We're having a question from chat here, which is from one of the attendees here, and it's about tokens. Can the corporation hold and issue tokens, digital assets?
I will leave it to our Managing Director, John Barclay, to answer this question.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for the presentation so far. I'll keep it short because I'm conscious we're running out of time. The question has two parts. Can a company hold tokens or digital assets? Short answer, yes, they can. A company can hold any assets not subject to compliance prohibitions such as for example terrorist purposes. The second part of the question, can they issue tokens, and I would take this to mean also coins and so on. The short answer is yes, but it's a regulated area, so each company that plans to do that in Hong Kong would need to take advice as to whether or not they need to have a license or whether they're permitted to do it at all.
Okay, thank you so much. It's I mean, it's the same all around the world about this sector. So yeah, but thank you so much. Another question: is there a tax on dividend income in Hong Kong if you have a holding there and a WOFE in mainland, and if how much?
Okay, so if let's say there is a Swedish company holding a Hong Kong company, and then a Hong Kong company is holding a WOFE, a Chinese company. So if there is a dividend paid out from Hong Kong to Swedish company, then there is no tax on the dividend distributed. But if the Chinese WOFE is making a profit and want to distribute it to the Hong Kong company, then there is a withholding tax. Then either it is 10% or 5%. It depends on whether the Hong Kong company have substance. So what is the substance? For example, whether the company has hired any staff, whether they have a physical office. So if they have a physical office, they have staff, that means they have substance, they have activities, then it will be taxed at 5%. So let's say if the Chinese WOFE want to remit $100 out to Hong Kong as dividend, then because the Hong Kong company has substance, then the Chinese government, they will deduct $5, which means it is 5%. But let's say if the Hong Kong company is just an investment holding company, then it will be taxed at 10%. So at the end, the Hong Kong company will only get $90. Okay, so $10 will be deducted in China.
Okay, thank you so much, Teresa. 9:58, 2 more minutes. The last question here is a certified accountant needed? Can documents be signed digitally?
You mean, I guess he means the incorporation documents. All the passport has to be certified by either an accountant or a lawyer. Okay, and whether the documents can be signed digitally, for incorporation, we need the original documents. But of course, clients usually send us the digitally signed one, and then they still have to send us the original signed document. That means the hard copy, and then we will submit to the company registry.
It's
yeah.
It's 1 more minute. It was Chrissy. Yeah, I don't mean withholding tax, but holding company in Hong Kong being taxed on dividend income from mainland.
No.
No.
So no income tax, tax.
Correct. It's a lot of questions, and it's been so interesting. And John and Teresa, thank you so much from Promasia, Andrew from Citibank. And I think we will stop here now, and this will be published on YouTube. And the audience, you can listen to it one more time, and you can also contact us at as the Chamber or Promasia or Citibank for further questions there. So thank you so much, all the speakers and attendees joining in today. And we will stop here now and have a fantastic day today. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank you. Bye-bye.